Hi, I'm Evan English from Old English Outfitters. Today we're going to talk about the ins and outs of gun safes and what makes one cost more than another. So today we want to talk about gun safes. There's such a wide range of prices that you see out there. They're at different places. You see them at discount stores, farm stores. You see them all over the place. And there's a great deal of confusion about what's the difference. What's the difference between one that's $500 and one that's $5,000? Well, today I want to talk to you about just kind of the lowdown. Let's erase all of the marketing hype, all of the other things that the safe companies are pushing at you. Let's just talk about the basics of what you're buying when you buy a safe. And first and foremost, you're buying two things. You're buying steel and you're buying fire lining or fire protection from inside the safe. Those two things are the biggest determinants of how expensive the safe is. So as you're looking at these safes, you want to look at how much steel am I getting, which you'll be able to tell from the weight. And you'll want to look at what is the fire rating or how much fire lining am I getting. Now, rarely will you see in the description of the safe, this has got 4 layers of fire core drywall in it, or this has X number of inches of a fire concrete that goes inside the walls. You're not going to see a lot of that, but what you will see is the rating. You'll see the rating on the door. If you look on the inside of the door on just about any of them, you'll see a rating. This particular safe shows a rating of fire exposure to 1650 degrees to keep the internal temperature at 349 degrees or less for 90 minutes. Now, how do they come to that conclusion? Well, all of these safes are tested by independent laboratories. That's why when you open one company's safe and you look at the fire rating, and then you open another company's safe and you look at the fire rating, none of them read exactly the same. They all look like different numbers from different laboratories. Well, that's because they are. Every manufacturer has their safe tested at an independent laboratory. So this safe will do exactly what that label says that it will do because it's been tested to do so. And they've been proven and certified to do so. But, for instance, this is a Champion safe, an excellent and fine safe, but if we go on the other side of this aisle and we look at a Browning Pro Steel safe, you'll see that they state their fire rating differently. That's okay. You want to try to find as many similar numbers as you can. So for 90 minutes, what am I getting? So you can take one of those numbers and try to compare at the top rating, at the bottom rating. Most of them will try to keep the internal rating at 350 degrees or less. And that's because the flash point of paper is at about 350 degrees. So you're going to look at that center number and you're going to see how high they go above it and for how long. So you'll be able to compare those two things. And the more expensive safes you see, you'll see that fire rating continues to go up. Now, part of that's a function of fire lining, and part of it is a function of the steel. You'll see a lot of different steels in safes. You'll see some very inexpensive safes with very thin 16 gauge steel. You'll see a lot of safes as they continue to go up with a 14 gauge steel, just slightly thicker, but still not very thick. But as you get into the better safes, you're going to see 10 gauge steel, 11 gauge steel, where you're going to get a good 1/8 of an inch. By the time we get to a 10 gauge steel, you're looking at about an 1/8 of an inch thick. That's some really strong steel. You're not going to easily bend or pry that. So as you're getting to some of the higher series safes, and all of the dedicated safe companies have them, they have the low end safes and they rate right on up to their high weight, high fire lining, higher everything safe. So you're going to find that as they name this safe, it has some grandiose title, whether it be Triumph or Crown Grade or Medallion or Platinum Series in different brands. And this is everybody's brand. They've got a name for their different series of safes. And what you want to look for is something that fits your needs. Now, generally, if you're looking for high security, the least expensive safe is not going to be the one that fits your needs. You're going to find one that's somewhere in the middle, maybe even leaning toward the upper ends, depending on where you live or what you're putting in it. And you want one that fits your needs. And there is a point of diminishing returns. You could spend, let's say, $1,500 to $2,000 and get a very reasonable size safe at a nice size, a nice thickness, one that's going to be very secure. Or you could turn around and spend 2.5, 3 times that. Spend $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 on a safe that's the same size but weighs more. Some factors to consider. One, how much do you need? What is it that you're trying to prohibit? Will this do it? If you're putting a safe in the basement of an all-wood house, there's a good chance that if you did have a full house fire, it might go 3 or 4 hours. No safe made is going to completely survive that kind of, no, I shouldn't say that. I should say no safe made specifically for home applications is probably going to survive that kind of a fire. I've seen some very high-end safes not survive that type of a fire. So look for what you need. Look for what your structure can support. Look for something that's going to fit on your floor. If you're going on a floor joisted floor, and are you going to need support underneath it? Are you putting in an outer wall where you'll be close to the wall plate? How many floor joists will it bridge across? Those are things to consider. Where am I going to put it? Another thing to consider is size, physical size of the safe. What are you going to need? One of the exercises I generally ask customers to at least mentally go through is, if I was going to go away for 2 weeks, what all would I like to put in a safe, and how much space would I need to make that happen? So you want enough real estate inside the safe that you can fill that up, that you have room to spare when you put everything away for 2 weeks. So the last few things to consider, so I can wrap this up for you, we don't want to take too long, is the fact that there's different other features other than the commodities we were talking about, fire lining and steel. We also then have to deal with fit and finish. What are you looking for in features inside the safe? When we look inside of a Champion safe, we're going to see some very nicely done particle board type shelving covered in upholstery. But then also when we go to the other side here and we look in a Browning safe, we're going to see something that's finished with a different type of interior. They use shelving that is anchored in steel braces. They have a very flexible shelving system, but the pricing is very different. So factor how many features you need and what you really value in the final finish of the safe. And that's how you choose your brand. I'm not here today to sell you one brand or another. We sell 2 very fine brands here at Old English, but they're not the only brands out there made. But today we wanted to debunk what is just the myth and the mystery regarding how much a safe costs and why do I need to spend $2,000 instead of $500 to make sure that my memories, my firearms, everything is safe. I hope today was very informative. I had fun sharing with you. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next week.